right, good afternoon, everyone, on a seasonably warm afternoon at least. Call to order our Planning Commission work session for July 10th, 2024. You give me the thumbs up when you're ready. We're good? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order our Planning Commission work session for July 10th, 2024. The first item up is GP 24-01 and Z 24-07, LDC text amendment and citizens review for designation of a central business district. With that, Ashley, do you have this one? Come on up.
I do. Thank you, Chair. All right, so this is initiation of two items tonight. The first one being GP 24, that should actually be 01, and Z 2407. So we're looking to update the general plan as well as do an LDC text amendment, and this is to address requirements for a central business district. So tonight we are conducting the citizen review to discuss the general plan update as well as the LDC text amendment. So at the end of my presentation, we'll ask you to open it up to the public for review and then initiate those amendments. So we're seeking to initiate the general plan, and that would be to identify a central business district within the general plan, and then also initiate a text amendment to the Land Development Code. At this time, all we're looking to do is add a new term for central business district. The effect of this amendment will be to make conforming changes to the House Bill 2721 that was adopted by the state legislature. So just a little bit of history. In May of 2024, the governor signed House Bill 2721, which is also called the Middle Housing Bill, and then it will go into effect on September 14th. And so as I go through the slides, we'll just keep that date in mind. So the House bill requires that by January 1st of 2026, a municipality has to allow the development of duplexes, triplexes, fourplexes, and townhomes, also known as middle housing, on single-family lots within 1 mile of a central business district, and then also on 20% of any new development on more than 10 contiguous acres. There's another provision within that bill that states if a municipality does not adopt those regulations, the middle housing will be allowed on all lots zoned for single family without limitation. The statute defines the central business district as an area or series of areas designated by the municipality that are primarily non-industrial and that attract community activity, including the entire geographic area that the municipality has officially designated as its downtown or equivalent on the effective date of this section. So staff is currently evaluating different areas of town that may meet the criteria and that may be ideal to identify as our central business district. So moving forward, our next steps for this text amendment and general plan update to comply with this House bill, we are currently, as I mentioned, evaluating options for a area boundary. On August 6th, we hope to bring an area boundary to Town Council for review and discussion, possible adoption. August 7th is the next Planning Commission meeting where we would ask the Commission to take a look at our proposed general plan update, as well as the LDC text amendment that will incorporate a definition for central business district. As I said earlier, this becomes effective on September 14th, and so the goal would be to have the central business district in effect prior to the effective date of the House bill. And then prior to January of 2026, staff would continue to develop the regulations related to allowing these types of homes or these types of dwelling units within our single family zoning districts. So this is just kind of step one of complying with this new legislation, and then we'll be back before you with regulations prior to January of 2026. So with that, looking for any input from the commission, and again, we'll ask you to conduct a citizen review if there's anybody in the public that wanted to comment on this, and then initiate these amendments.
All right, thanks, Ashley. Any questions for staff? Commissioner Fay.
Ashley, is it possible that staff or the city the town will determine that no area within the city qualifies as a central business district? Is that even allowed?
The way the legislation reads is that if you don't adopt regulations, then it would be allowed within any single-family zoning district.
I read that part, but could we adopt the regulations and say that right now in our current demographic, nowhere in the town of Gilbert meets these regulations, so we're not, but in the future we may designate somewhere, or do we have to designate some specific location?
I would lean on Elena maybe to weigh in if she's got a thought on that, but I think our goal would be to identify an area, particularly as it relates to the definition.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Fay, yeah, this has been a topic of conversations with other jurisdictions as well. And it's, and perhaps on a theoretical level that would or could be possible, maybe not for Gilbert, but maybe another jurisdiction. At this point, there is some caution that should be heeded because it operates somewhat like a poison pill, and that if we do not implement the regulations, then it opens it up throughout the town. So that's about as close to an answer as I can give you, because that's about as close to an answer I think other jurisdictions have arrived at as well.
Okay.
We're not pursuing that anyway, so. Any other questions? Any other commissioners? No? I guess, Ashley, my question was kind of along Commissioner Fay's, but the other side. So could they do more than one CBD district, considering like what we do with the general plan and having growth areas, or is the purpose just to identify one?
Yeah, Chairman and Commission, based on the language of the bill, you could adopt multiple. From what because it says an area or series of areas designated. I think at this time the town is just contemplating one.
Okay. And then I think you had mentioned that this is just the definitions, the geographic boundary discussions come at a later date. Correct.
Well, we're going to add a definition, and then we will also update the general plan to include the central business district. It will follow council settling on a boundary.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from commissioners? This is a citizens review meeting, so is there anyone in the audience that would wish to speak on this item? That's where I was going next, yeah. So seeing none, does anybody, since this is a general plan amendment, we also actually need a motion to initiate. So is there any other discussion amongst the commission, or would somebody want to make a motion to initiate?
I'll make a motion to initiate.
Okay. So I've got a motion to initiate by Commissioner DeGravina. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Davis. All those in favor? Please vote. You want to just do a roll call? No, it's not. Do you want to just do a?
Yes, please.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion to initiate carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, next up is Z 24-05, another LDC text amendment and a citizens review. I think we're going to start seeing a pattern tonight.
Mr. Chair, actually for clarification, I'm not sure if that motion was just for the general plan or the text amendment as well. The
So,
text amendment, we could just do a
yeah, because
directed.
I thought the GP, we needed a motion, and on the zoning, we could just direct to initiate.
Correct.
Okay.
I must have missed that, I'm
So,
sorry.
yeah, so then the direction would be to initiate the LDC zoning text amendment as
Great,
well. Thank you.
you.
All right, Z 24-05, the LDC text amendment and citizens review regarding accessory structures. We get Eva on this one. Welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair and Commission. This may appear familiar to you because about a year ago, you initiated an LDC revision for accessory dwelling units. At that time, we were trying to tighten our regulations, but then House Bill 2720 was passed. So now we actually have to loosen our regulations. So all the work we did for a year, we'll have to toss out and start new. And we have until January 1st of 2025 to pass new edits to our code. So that's why we're bringing it tonight for a new initiation, because it is so different from what we initiated a year ago. Currently, our land development code allows accessory dwelling units on single-family lots, and we allow one guest home and one accessory dwelling unit, which is very generous when you look at other municipalities. The House Bill language also requires us to allow at least one attached and one detached accessory dwelling unit, but it also requires communities to allow an additional dwelling unit if the lot is over an acre in size and if they have that dwelling unit as an affordable unit. Lastly, it appears to set restrictions on the size of the dwelling units, that they can't exceed 75% of the gross floor area of the main residence or 1,000 feet, whichever is less. Our current LDC states that guest homes cannot be rented and cannot have kitchens. And then we have a second category of ADUs that can be rented and can have kitchens. The House Bill language does not differentiate between the two. They're both considered ADUs, and we cannot prohibit rental of them, nor can we restrict kitchens in them. The current LDC states that the accessory dwelling unit shall be subordinate to the main house. We don't define it. Under the House Bill, it says a single-family dwelling of greater square footage than the accessory dwelling unit. And then there's that confusing language 2 slides earlier that stated 75% of the main or 1,000 square feet, whichever is less. And our current LDC states that except for accessory dwelling units constructed over a detached garage, secondary dwelling units shall be located in the building envelope. This is probably the biggest hit to our code because under House Bill 2720, we cannot set any restrictions on accessory dwelling units that are more restrictive than what we allow for the single-family unit. So they can be as tall as the single-family unit, but we also cannot require them to meet the single-family dwelling unit setbacks. We can only require a 5-foot setback. So currently, accessory dwelling units have to be in the building envelope. They have to meet the same setbacks as the main. Under House Bill 2720, the side and rear setbacks are limited to 5 feet. Under our current land development code, we regulate the design of the accessory dwelling units and make sure it matches the architecture of the main. We can no longer do that. And we also require an additional on-site parking space for an accessory dwelling unit. Again, under House Bill 2720, we can no longer do that. Lastly, we require an administrative use permit for all ADUs. Under House Bill 2720, they're permitted as of right. They just go for a building permit. The only thing planning can do is a discretionary zoning review just to make sure the 5-foot setback is met and the number of ADUs meet the House Bill language. So we can no longer match the architecture of the house. We can't require on-site parking. We can't require the same setbacks as the house. We can't do restrictions on height any different than the main house. And you can get an additional accessory dwelling unit if you are on a lot over an acre. And if we fail to adopt these regulations before January 1st, then accessory dwelling units shall be allowed on all lots zoned for residential without limits. So we need to at least get what regulation we can get before January 1st. We are working with the league to come up with a draft ordinance that most of the municipalities will look at and probably adopt or edit a bit and adopt. So I'll be bringing something back to you in the near future, but tonight I'm really looking for action to initiate this.
Thanks, Eva, and the comparison was helpful too, so
Thank you.
Commissioners, any questions for staff or Eva? Seeing none. I guess my only question is, can HOAs on their own pass anything that might be more restrictive?
Thank you, Chairman, for asking that. Yes, HOAs can.
Okay.
So this was brought to council, it was actually brought to council to introduce them to our old tighter regulations, and this was passed the day we brought it to council. So we did make council aware that HOA does have more control than we do, and the mayor did mention that on the record, so that HOAs can still have control over these, but the town regulations cannot.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. It's just too bad that it undoes all of the work that staff did just not too long ago, so. Any other questions or comments? It is a citizens review meeting, so anybody here from the public that would like to speak on this item? Nope, crickets again, so bring it back. Is the commission in agreement that we initiate this amendment? Yeah, okay. So yes, with the agreement, direction is to initiate the text amendment. Thanks, Eva. All right, number 3 this evening is Z24-06. Hey, look, it's another LDC text amendment and citizen review. This is regarding backyard fowl. So with that, we will introduce Veronica. Take it away.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Veronica Gonzalez, Principal Planner. And tonight I'm requesting a citizen review meeting and initiation of a text amendment to Section 5.2 of the Land Development Code that will make conforming changes with the recent legislation pertaining to backyard fowl. Sorry about that. So staff continuously looks for opportunities to improve and update the LDC, and the governor's signing of House Bill 2325 presented that opportunity in May of this year. So we'll be updating the LDC requirements for backyard fowl on residential properties. Due to the requirements of the approved bill, we will need to make some changes. Currently, the LDC offers a tiered approach to the number of fowl that are permitted on a lot, where the number of fowl allowed is increases as the size of the lot increases, up to 25 fowl on a lot that is between 10,000 square feet and 20,000 square feet. In comparison, House Bill 2325 limits the number of fowl on lots a half acre in size or less to just six fowl. The bill also gives cities and towns the ability to establish other regulations with regard to location, size, and height of enclosures for these backyard fowl. And so we'll be looking at potentially making changes to address those items as well. So in conclusion, again, I am requesting that you conduct a citizen review meeting and initiate the LDC text amendment pertaining to backyard fowl. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thanks, Veronica. Any questions for staff? Yeah, Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you for the presentation. The question I have is kind of triggered from the last case that we hear regarding HOAs. So does HOAs, can they restrict having fowls in backyards, or does the state override that?
So this bill does not have the same language that the previous bill that we just talked about with ADUs, where it allows HOAs to have that ability to do that. It actually has some preemptive language in there that appears as though it might prohibit that.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
As I said, Commissioner Commissioner Anderson asked my question, so.
So you're good? Was it sufficiently answered for you then? Okay. So Veronica, one of the things we were noticing was the lot size where this is permitted. So based off of the setbacks and things like that, would there be some lots that would basically be eliminated from contention just because of setback requirements, even though they may have the zoning to do so?
Mr. Chairman, that could be possible because with the fowl being allowed on lots half acre or less, you could potentially have some very small lots.
Yeah.
With regard to the location of the enclosures, the size, the setback requirements, not requirements, the setbacks that have been noted in the bill as we may require a 20-foot setback, that could prohibit the location of where an enclosure for fowl could be placed. And
Okay.
so that might be limiting on some of those smaller lots.
Okay, thanks. I mean, we already have a foul ordinance in place, right? So do we get much complaints on that? I mean, my concern is the waste and things, especially if we start introducing this on smaller lots and their impact to adjacent properties. So I guess my question is, would those inspections be handled through code compliance, or how would inspections be handled if there was an issue?
Mr. Chairman, it would be a code compliance issue,
Okay.
but as you know, our code compliance operates on a complaint based situation. They're not out proactively doing on-view inspections and things
Okay,
like that.
yeah, I just didn't know if we'd had any bad actors or anything.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure. I'm not aware at this time what, if any, complaints that we might have with regard to chickens or other fowl
Sure.
on residential properties.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Once again, do you have another one? Yeah, Commissioner Anderson.
It's kind of a stupid question. So
never stupid
the fowls, is there a definition term, or is it just open to any type of bird? And then there's a type of birds, like say if I live on a 6,000 square foot lot and we're all bunched together, can I throw 6 roosters in my backyard and just piss the whole neighbor off, hood off every morning with those things?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioner Anderson, the Muni Code of the Town of Gilbert does have a definition for fowl, and it includes a number of chickens, hens, I believe roosters are also included in that. As part of the bill, they have a definition for fowl as well, which includes chickens and hens. Now, with regard to your question about roosters, our current code does allow roosters. I believe it's 1 rooster for every 10 or 20,000 square feet of lot area. One of the provisions in the House bill is that it allows the town, if they should choose, to prohibit roosters. We're not looking to do that at this time because we currently allow roosters, but our current code does have a limit on the number of roosters you can have based on the size of your lot.
Okay, any other questions? No? Seeing none, again, this is a citizens review meeting as well, so if there's anybody that'd like to speak on this foul topic. Seeing none, do any of the commissioners have any issues initiating this text amendment? All right, seeing none, the direction is to initiate, please. Thanks, Veronica.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners.
All right. What are we on? Item number 4, Z24-08. Another LDC text amendment and citizen review regarding common procedures. Elena, are you introducing this?
I am.
Okay,
As
Riva.
as best as I can, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You may recall from the last meeting that this body adopted new bylaws to conform with the changes that town council made to the rules of procedure back in April. At that time, we identified also some LDC text provisions that also need to be amended, and this would bring those into conformance. I think the next slide might just sum it all up, but that's about all. And so just looking for this issue to be opened up for citizen review and for this issue to be initiated as well.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? No, pretty straightforward. If there are none, we'll move on to the citizens review. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, bring it back to the commission. Does anyone have an issue if we provide direction to initiate? All right, seeing none, please, direction is to initiate. Thank you. All right, item number 5 this evening is discussion of regular meeting agenda. Eva, do we have any proposed changes tonight?
Yes, Chairman, thank you. The case number DR 2462, Super Light Block, that there has been a request from staff to continue that case.
Okay.
If the applicant is here, please open it up in case they wish to make a statement. But other than that, the recommendation has changed from approval to continue.
Okay, would you prefer that we just pull that item from consent, or can we?
Only if anybody shows up to speak on it.
Okay,
Oh, wait a minute, Elena, would they have to pull it to change the recommendation? Probably.
yeah, if we have to provide a date specific?
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Okay. All right, is that the only change?
That is the only change. It
Okay.
appears everything else can stay on consent.
Okay.
The only other one that may have public here to speak on is the item number 14, the LDC text amendment.
Okay,
That was one that I presented to you at the last meeting, and it was regarding inoperable vehicles. It was continued because the commission wished to have council adopt the community preservation ordinance first. That was adopted, but since there was a gentleman that spoke on it on the last meeting, he may show up tonight to speak as well.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody from the commission, any other proposed changes or questions?
Kind of, Eva, on that last topic, I had a question. We tabled it not just for the, the adoption of that by council, but also because there was part that we couldn't talk about. It wasn't properly agendized, and I wanted to know, had that been resolved? I mean, the question, the guy raised some questions about search in his backyard and search and seizure, and we started to ask questions, and we were told, well, you can't really talk about that other stuff because it's not properly agendized. Has that been addressed? I mean, can we talk about it tonight?
Chairman, Commissioner, that was addressed at council. They advised staff to meet privately with the gentleman. Elena, I, and other members of staff have met with that gentleman to address his Fourth Amendment concerns.
Yeah, I mean, I think his Fourth Amendment concerns were exaggerated, but the rest of it were, if he shows up, it'll get pulled anyway. Okay.
Thank you, good recall, thank you. All right, anything further? If not, we will adjourn the work session and reconvene at 6 p.m. Thank you. Eva, are we okay to get started? You guys good? Veronica, do you need to connect? We're good? All right. All right, with that, good evening, everyone. We'd like to call to order the Town of Gilbert Planning Commission meeting for July 10th, 2024. Let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Next item up is our roll call.
Commissioner Everett? Commissioner DeGravina?
Present.
Commissioner Simon?
Here.
Commissioner Gage?
Here.
Commissioner Fay?
Here.
Commissioner Davis?
Here.
Commissioner Anderson?
Yeah.
Acting Chair Bianchi?
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you very much. Next item is approval of this evening's agenda. Does anyone want to make a motion with the change we talked about during the work session?
So are we pulling item
Yeah,
12
my-
off for the continuation?
My understanding is we would pull 12 off just for the continuation, and then, do we have anyone here? I do not have any cards yet for item 14. Seeing none, then I think that could probably stay on consent.
Okay, I'll motion to approve the agenda, moving item 12 to non-consent.
Okay. All right, we got a motion for approval by Commissioner Anderson. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second.
All right, seconded by Commissioner Simon. Please vote. All right, carries unanimously 7-0. All right, next up is item number 7, communication from citizens. At this time, members of the public may comment on matters within the jurisdiction of the town. The commission may not discuss items that are not specifically identified on the agenda. Therefore, pursuant to state law, any action taken as a result of public comment will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, responding to any criticism, or scheduling the matter for future consideration. With that, is there anyone here this evening who would like to speak on something not on this evening's agenda? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to item number 8, report from our council liaison. Vice Mayor Anderson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only reminder I have tonight is don't forget to vote, either by mail or you can also, there's a couple of polling places for early voting if you choose to do that, but July 30th is the actual date for the vote. Don't forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. All right, next up is our public hearing consent agenda for this evening. All items listed are considered the public hearing consent calendar. The commission may by a single motion approve any number of the items where after opening the public hearing, no person requests the item to be removed from the consent calendar, and if such a request is made, the commission shall then withdraw the item from the public hearing consent calendar for the purpose of public discussion and separate action. Other items on the agenda may also be added to the consent calendar and approved under a single motion. With that, I will open up the public hearing, and is there anyone here wishing to speak on a matter on consent this evening? All right, seeing none, close the public hearing on that. We'll bring the consent calendar back to the commission for any discussion or possible movement. Motion. Commissioner Simon?
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda, including item 9, UP 2344 Heritage North, ground floor residential. Item 10, UP 2345 Heritage North Hotel. Item 11, DR 2404 Stratton Office. Item 12, excuse me,
Yeah, that
strike
would be
that.
cool.
Item
Yep.
13, ST 2304 Stonegate Court, previously the Orchard. And item 14, Z 2402 LDC text amendment.
Okay, very good. I've got a motion for approval by Commissioner Simon. Do I have a second?
Sure, I'll second it.
All right, a second by Commissioner Fay. Actually, please vote. Got ahead of myself. There we go. The consent calendar passes unanimously 7-0. Thank you. All right, moving on to our public hearing non-consent calendar. As we had mentioned before, the only item listed is item number 12, DR 24-62, the Superlight Block Site Expansion and Plant Upgrade. With that, can we just open the public hearing and then we don't need staff doesn't need to present or anything, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so we'll open the public hearing. Do the commissioners have any specific questions with that? No? Okay. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on the matter? No? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and bring it back for a motion for possible continuance.
Chairman, I would make a motion to continue item 12, DR 24-62, until staff brings it forward again.
Chairman, may I ask that we continue it to a date certain?
Sure.
Just for advertising? And Sal, may I ask you what date? August 7th, if we can make a motion to continue it to August
Then I
7th.
would amend my motion
Thank
to
you.
continue it until August 7th, to the August meeting of the Planning Commission.
Very good. So motion for continuance by Commissioner Fay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Please vote. All right, that item is continued. Lightning speed tonight. Next up is our administrative items. The first item up are the Planning Commission minutes for the study session and the regular meeting for June 5th, 2024. I guess the only question I would have is I was absent at the last one, and I think I actually was in the meeting minutes. So if you could replace me with that, I think that would be the correction I have. Does anyone have any other corrections as well to the redevelopment, joint meeting with redevelopment? Okay. All right, does anyone want to make a motion for the Planning Commission meeting minutes for June 5th?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written, and you're talking striking you from the joint meeting, correct?
I think, I thought it was the meeting on June 5th, they had me listed.
Had you listed?
Yeah,
So with
somewhere in the minutes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of June 5th and striking the chair.
Okay. Very good. I have a motion for approval. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Please vote. Passes unanimously, 7-0. Next are the Joint Planning Commission and Redevelopment Commission meeting minutes for June 11th. I did not have any changes. Anybody else? If there are none, I will entertain a motion as well.
I'll move to approve the Joint Commission and Redevelopment Commission minutes from June 11th.
Okay, very good. So I've got a motion for approval by Commissioner Davis. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, seconded by Commissioner DeGravina. All right, all those, actually, I want to keep saying all those in favor. Please vote. Go. Nope, it's locked me out. Anyway, I vote yay, so that motion will carry 7-0 unanimously. All right, communications. There is no executive session this evening. Item number 17 is a report from the chairman or any members of our commission on current events. Does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
Chair?
Yeah.
I would just like
Commissioner
to second what, I don't know if I should call you vice mayor, or if I could call you council member. But just make sure everybody understands that we do need to vote, especially in the local election. They will be most likely decided here in June, July. So make sure we get out to vote.
Very good, good reminder. Anyone else? All right, seeing none. Next up, report from our planning service manager.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to take this opportunity to formally welcome our new staff. We are now finally at full staff. We have Sandra Childers, our Planner 2. We have Abby Ayler, our Planner 1, and Alexa Beck, our admin. And Alexa ordered all our food tonight, so thank her for that. And I think we're off to a great start with our new team, so
Very
thank
good.
you.
Well, welcome aboard to all the new staff members. And did you say you're now Fully staffed?
Yes, I've been
Excellent.
here 5 years, and it's the first time we're fully staffed.
Good.
Come back in 5 minutes.
Yeah. No one move, everyone stay. All right, if there is nothing further, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll move to adjourn.
Okay, move to adjourn, do I have a second?
I will second.
Seconded by Commissioner Fay, please vote. All right, 7-0 unanimously, thank you, everyone. We are adjourned. Did you vote no again? 6-1, apparently. You don't have to go home, you just can't stay here. Isn't that the saying?